So at least once a year, I like to tell this story, and whether true or not, this story is so full of truth that I think it worth revisiting. And the story starts off as I heard it first. In some small, no-name town in the country, on a beautiful day, much like today, beautiful Saturday, and this father and the son was walking down the street, taking a walk, just chatting it up, having a great conversation, back and forth, full of energy, full of life. And all of a sudden, the father realizes that the son stopped talking. And they had been walking for a few seconds and then a few minutes in silence, an eerie silence. And he looked down at his son and realized that his son has been fixated down at the end of the street. For at the end of the street, there was a playground. And it was full of all the kids playing baseball and the parents in the stand. And the father's heart started to break because he knew the son was staring because it was something he could not do. His son was handicapped and they were walking. His son was hobbling along with his brace. And everything in the father said to stop, turn around, counsel him, go home, get ice cream. But on this day, he just didn't. He don't know why, he just kept walking. They both just kept walking towards the heartbreak in absolute silence. And when they got to the end of the street, and they stood there at the fence, father doesn't know why he did it. Heart's breaking. Son standing there in absolute sad silence. And they stand at the fence looking at the kids play, having a ball. And then it started to happen. The young kid on the playing outfield in baseball looked over at the fence, came over to the fence and said, "Hey, come play with us. Come play with us." And the kid looked up at his father. The father didn't know what to say. But the father found himself just picking him up and putting him over the fence. And then he made his way around to the stand, and it turned out to be one of the best days ever as the father got to be an average parent in the stands, watching his kids stand out on the field. It was becoming the best day ever. He was just so happy for his son. And then it happened again. They looked at his son and said, "Hey, it's the end of the game. You're up at bat." And he looked at this father in the stand, and his father didn't want to be discouraging, so the father just said, and he hobbled over there up at the plate, and they helped him position with his brace with that bat in his hand. And the pitcher pitched the ball, and his son swung at the ball, whoosh! Oh, and everybody in the crowd was like, wow. And then it continued to happen. The pitcher from the opposing team came closer and said, looked at the guy with the bat, and he said, "You can do this. You can do this. You can do this." And he pitched the ball, and his son swung, and he just tipped the ball, and the ball fell almost right down in the sand. And everybody in the whole world screamed, "Run!" Screamed, "Run!" And oh my gosh, he started to hobble. He started to hobble down towards first base, and the crowd was going freaking crazy, and the dad was full of tears, and everybody was just watching this, and he ran around from first base to second base, from second base to third base, from third base, he made his way all the way home. And both teams came together and raised him up and took him off the field, a hero that day. A hero that day. That became a day that child, that father, all the players on the field, and all the parents in the stand would never forget. But I think the lesson in this story comes from how this story came to be. It took something that's rare to find to start, which is bravery. The father had to overcome his tendency to avoid walking to the end of the street with his child. He had to overcome the fear of the immense heartbreak that they would inevitably have if they kept walking towards something his child could never do. That act of bravery had to have happened for the rest of the magic to show up. They had to be willing to stand there face to face with that heartbreaking fear, for the magic to know them worthy to show up. And then other players had to be brave enough to act in the moment, and that magical chain reaction took place. The story always moves me to think about how the magic of humanity, just the magic of things, is possible. And how bad days might be one hair away from being an amazing day. And I've come to believe that sometimes the ingredient is simply bravery, courage. What if, and I cannot prove this, but there's something in me that leans me into believing it, that there is beautiful magic swirling all around us all the time, waiting for us to be courageous enough or brave enough in the moment for it to give us that gift of magic. It's an inspiring thing to think about. It's a humbling thing to think about. It's a fearful thing to think about if you wonder, in your world of swirling possibility and unimaginable magic, in the moment, will you be brave enough? Will you be brave enough for the magic to show up?